Hey guys, so in this video I'm going to show you a practice that I would like more people to just to consider when they're writing JavaScript. So let's get into it. Now, what we will cover here is that something that I see a lot of programmers do. I mean, I do it as well when I forget myself, and I will show you why I think this thing is bad, and I will show you what we could possibly do to fix it. Now, just as disclaimer, this is just me, Frederick, expressing my personal opinion about how to write software. This is in no way an industry standard. This is just me saying I think this would be nice if you think about this when you work. So let's have a look at my function here. So let's start off by just reading this comment. Try to avoid having this many input parameters, but if you can't, make sure to name them well. You know what? Always give things a good names. I'm sure that this is the first time you've ever heard that. Yeah, basically what I'm saying to you is that try to avoid too many parameters. This is a little bit too much, I would say, but for my little demo here, it should be fine. So we have this fizzbus function, right, that takes in a bunch of stuff, and for some reason it loops through the times to run. And if the number of fizzes is greater than times to say fizz or numbers, yeah, I think that you can kind of follow along the logic here. So for any reason, if we hit any of the thresholds that we're passing in here, we should simply return, and otherwise we will simply do the fizzbus algorithm, and we will use whatever. We have a log function that comes in for us as well, because hey, we're functional. That means that we pass in our impurities. This is not strictly functional, if you will, but passing in the log function and logging the results out basically, and incrementing the counter by 1. That's the entire function. Hopefully this logic is fairly obvious to you. I cross my fingers that that's the case. So let's look at consuming this function, because that's the thing I want to touch on. This is something I see quite often. So I have this function that takes a bunch of stuff, and this is what I see. So 100, 100, 100, 100, and some console log. When I'm reading this from this perspective, because if I don't know this function very intimately, or if I hover it and maybe I can see something like this, times to run, like if I have an editor that can help me, yeah, that's great. But for the most part, I might actually have to go inside of this function and read the specification and really look at things. And personally, I think that these magic numbers here could have been a little bit more descriptive, so that at a glance I can see what they're about. So what I would like you to think about is to maybe do something like this, where maybe you simply take the extra byte here and there, like it's not much more in terms of work, and just name your parameters with some semantic name instead of just passing in the number, so that I can kind of see what's going on here. And then we pass everything in. Because to me, this feels a little bit more descriptive. I don't know how you feel about it, but I really like it when people take some time to really to think about the reader of their software. And it's one of my, if I have a feature request for JavaScript, it would be that I would really like named parameters, because they help a lot for readability. Because let's remember that it's not always about writing code. Most of the time you're reading code. So if you can make it easier for the reader to understand what's going on, I think you should take that extra minute to clean things up a little bit. I hope that you found this useful. Have a great day.